If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. This is episode number 355 of a show that provides insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. Welcome back. Since it is a Tuesday, we normally dive into the top 10 trending Twitter topics. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. That is what I started doing this morning. That's right. I say started because this is take 2 of today's show. I decided to stop the recording. I went on a little bit of a rant, and sometimes that's fun, especially if it's impromptu, but I didn't necessarily want to go in that direction today because I didn't feel like the way that was going was the most productive use of your time. And since I value your time and I value the fact that you share it with me, since there's so many other podcasts out there, I mean, for example, in the very first episode, I outlined some statistics about the volume of shows and the volume of episodes, and just the simple fact that here we are connecting right here and right now. I still think there's something to that. And sometimes the rants are fun, sometimes they're not. And anyways, let's move on. Taking a look at the trending topics, I'll go back and read the top 10 to you and then go in the direction that I was going. Number 1, entertainment. Hashtag Thor Love and Thunder. Looks like the new trailer for Thor Love and Thunder introduces Christian Bale as villain Gore and the God Butcher. All right. Number 2, drama TV. Hashtag Better Call Saul. Viewers tune in for a new episode of Better Call Saul on AMC. Trending with Lalo and Breaking Bad. Number 3, only on Twitter. Trending. Hashtag Tuesday Vibe. Rise and Shine. Number 4, hockey. Number 5, Juneteenth. Number 6, Taiwan. Number 7, Quirtle. Number 8, WWE Raw. Maybe one extra W. Okay. Now, way down at number 12 is Davos. All right. And when I first pulled this up, that's like there was all this trending stuff, and maybe I was just looking at what's trending for me. I don't know. Maybe things changed. I don't know. But I just saw tweet after tweet after tweet about the World Economic Forum, the annual meeting that's occurring right now, and some of the things that are associated with that meeting that are going on. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about who Klaus Schwab is, and some of the work that he has done. So let's take a look at some of the books that is that correct? Yes, Professor Klaus Schwab is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. In 1971, he published Modern Enterprise Magazine, Management in Mechanical Engineering. He argues in that book that a company must serve not only its shareholders, but all stakeholders to achieve long-term growth and prosperity. To promote the stakeholder concept, he founded the World Economic Forum in the same year, 1971. Now, he's got a wealth of books behind him and a wealth of work that's associated with the World Economic Forum. What's interesting, though, is in 2017, he wrote a book called The Fourth Industrial Revolution. And that's a book that I own and a book that I began reading. I haven't completed it, but I'd like to share with you the snippet on that book, the description of that book. World-renowned economist Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, explains that we have an opportunity to shape the fourth industrial revolution, which will fundamentally alter how we live and work. Schwab argues that this revolution is different in scale, scope, and complexity from any that have come before, characterized by a range of new technologies that are fusing the physical, digital, and biological worlds. The developments are affecting all disciplines, economies, industries, and governments, and even challenging ideas about what it means to be human. Artificial intelligence is already all around us, from supercomputers, drones, and virtual assistants to 3D printing, DNA sequencing, smart thermostats, wearable sensors, and microchips smaller than a grain of sand. But this is just the beginning. Nanomaterials 200 times stronger than steel and 1,000,000 times thinner than a strand of hair, and the first transplant of a 3D printed liver are already in development. Imagine smart factories in which global systems of manufacturing are coordinated virtually, or implantable mobile phones made of biosynthetic materials. The fourth industrial revolution, says Schwab, is more significant and its ramifications more profound than in any prior period in human history. He outlines the key technologies driving this revolution and discusses the major impacts expected on government, business, civil society, and individuals. Schwab also offers bold ideas on how to harness these changes and shape a better future, one in which technology empowers people rather than replaces them. Progress serves society rather than disrupts it, and which innovators respect moral and ethical boundaries rather than cross them. We all have the opportunity to contribute to developing a new framework that advances progress. Okay. This sounds interesting. You know, a lot of this technology sounds good if we think about it. But when I hear things about challenging ideas about what it means to be human, it's very concerning. And so I decided that this would be a good book to read. And the reason that I wanted to read this first is because Klaus Schwab also wrote a book called COVID-19, The Great Reset. And I think what's interesting about this book is that its publication date was July 13th, 2020. This book was written, you know, the timing is just impeccable, and the way that things are being referenced in the Fourth Industrial Revolution is curious. And The reason I started going off, for lack of a better term, was because of the nature of the events that are occurring at this annual meeting. And then, and the reality is, I think what I was looking at was I was looking at what's trending for me, because I follow on Twitter. I don't know what I was looking at. I think I looked at the you know what, guys? I don't know what I was looking at earlier. The reality was I ended up seeing a number of things about that, and I ended up seeing a number of things that distracted me from what's important. And then when I went to what's trending, I see all these other things, Thor, Better Call Saul, Go, Avs Go, Juneteenth, Taiwan, Quirtle, Wiggins, and Whoopi. All of this is a distraction. Everything with the World Economic Forum, all of the dialogue associated with it as well, it's a distraction. What do I mean by that? I mean that the things that Klaus Schwab writes about with the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the technological change, I think that these things are concerning because as humans, I am of the opinion that we have evolved to get to the point basically where we are and where we've been for the past few generations, but the technological change that has been taking place during my generation and my father's generation has been so rapid that the generation of my nieces and nephews and subsequent generations are going to have a very challenging time keeping up with it. And I'm sure that some of the initial objectives were to be able to assemble plans and strategies to address those challenges. But when we talk about things like 3D printed livers and microchips smaller than a grain of sand and implantable mobile phones made of biosynthetic materials, we really are challenging ideas about what it means to be human. We need to think about why we're doing this. Why it's so important to challenge these ideas of being human. What does it mean to be human in the first place? I've been having a lot of discussion, more with myself about what it means to be human. And that's meant making some drastic changes in my life to find out. So guys, what started off as a show in one direction went in an entirely different direction. I touched on some of the things that I wanted to touch on. I think that discussion about everything that's happening with the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the World Economic Forum, even the conspiracies behind it, they're good. It's good discussion and good dialogue to have. But like the permaculture prime direct, but okay, so all of this, all of this can be distracting, just like, permaculture. All of the, so much of the dialogue about permaculture can be distracting, but what's really important is the prime directive. Taking care of ourselves, care of our children, future generations, care of the earth, care of people, returning surplus, being good stewards to the land, living a good whole life. And for me, really what that's come down to, working through goals in 7 different areas of my life: financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, career, reviewing them on a regular basis, trying to be more regular about how I review them, trying to live a life that's in line with what I believe God wants, trying to examine and explore that in depth. I find that brings me peace. In a world where that seems to be increasingly difficult to find, that brings me great joy. And I would encourage you to do the same. A few years ago, when I went through Burnout 2.0, I initially went through Burnout 1.0 at or around 2009, 10. Let's say 2009 for the sake of conversation. 7 years later, Burnout 2.0. Didn't quite take 7 years this time around, but you could say I maybe came close to approaching that. But rather than get there, I decided to take action and make change. So I quit my job. And so when I went through Burnout 2.0, I needed to do a bit of a reset. A great reset in my own life, perhaps. Maybe I was ahead of the curve. I don't know. And here we are again. 2022. A little bit of a reset, transition. And I guess that's the point of all of this. A lot of what's trending in the world of Twitter, social media, a lot of what's happening with the World Economic Forum and the political economic spheres globally, don't let it be a distraction from gaining a better understanding of who you are, what your goals are, and why your goals are what they are. That's the important part. If you need help understanding, gaining clarity on your goals, I'll link to the 2022 Goal Setting Workbook, which you can use and download for free. Okay, yeah, it's May. Don't let that be an excuse for setting your goals. And even if you're listening to this episode at some point in the future, you can use this and apply it at any time. The key is doing it first and foremost, and being consistent with it secondly. You will achieve things you never thought you were able to achieve. But that consistency is the key. going to wrap this up now. Dad's running a few errands at Home Depot, picking up a couple things. I need to get things ready for making a large batch of kraut with him today. Got a nice lunch scheduled with the pastor of the church of which I am a member. I don't know where we're going yet, but I look forward to meeting, talking with him. I always do. In large part, that's why I'm a member of the church. He's a good leader. He's a good man. I always enjoy the dialogue with him. That's one way to not avoid some of these distractions in life, guys, but to effectively deal with them and navigate them. It's through getting involved with your community, getting involved with the local church, going to different ones, finding a community that resonates with you, finding a pastor who shares a message that is appealing to you, finding volunteer organizations that work in a way that is appropriate for you in the context of your life, service organizations. Show up. Do the work. Be the change you want to see in the world. Don't let these distractions disrupt your life. And if you think that this message is important and this resonates with you, share it. Share it with friends. Share it on social media. Share it on whatever groups you're a part of. Telegram, Float, Facebook, MeWe. The reason this podcast is where it is because of you. I'm a terrible self-promoter, and while I try from time to time, in large part, things are where they are because of your help. And for that, I am exceptionally grateful. I will say one thing, too, that was on my mind, kind of in conclusion, which this is turning into quite a long conclusion. These trending Twitter topics, these trending Twitter Tuesdays, for reasons like this, it's kind of a grind. I end up, there's been some good feedback about the show, and specifically these days, and it's fun. There's been more feedback about the Old Farmer's Almanac days. I guess because I get a little excited about that. But as I was reviewing my goals recently and thinking about the show and how it's changed over time, and something came to mind just yesterday, or maybe even this morning, as I was catching up on the group chat. If you want to be a part of that, you can join us at t.me/allaroundgrowth on Telegram. And longtime audience member, fan, friend, Andy, he's on vacation with his family in Florida and has been gracious enough to share all these awesome pictures with us. And some nice video. Nice steady video too. It was nice watching waves lap on the beach. Sunset. Quiet. Thanks for that. But he made some comment about how he was there a year ago. And I remembered that. And this show's been going on since, in its current form, since September of 2020. In September of 2022 We'll be 2 years in. And the show began, it changed a little bit more. It became what it is today. And it's changing even more. And I guess where I'm going with this is, for a show that's about all-around growth, as I've been working through these goals over the past 6 months or so, and talking about finding balance in life, these 7 areas of life, in my humble opinion, are really what are the areas that we need to work on to achieve all-around growth: financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, and career. Excuse me. Setting goals, smart goals in each of those areas, combined with asking ourselves the question, where do we want to be in 3 years? And then setting goals in order to make that happen. That process is outlined in this workbook. And that process has helped me figure out where I want to go in life, and where I want to go with this show. So I think what we're going to do is until I figure out how to actually implement this, because I've been reluctant to make some drastic change with the show, because there's a lot of drastic change right now. Like I said, I quit my job, but in order to keep some income coming in, I can't just jump into a full-time, sauerkraut maker with Dad, work farmers markets. That's it's not quite as lucrative as I want it to be yet. Plus, I still need to go through some of my own books, and I've had limited time because I ended up working damn near 30 hours over the course of 3 days last week, and that looks like that might be in store this week as well. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. So I've got some juggling to do, some thinking to do, but I'm also curious what your thoughts are. So let me know what you think about the show as it is, with Men of Order, like a Motivational Monday, Trending Twitter Tuesday, a Wild Card Wednesday, an Old Farmer's Almanac Thursday, and an Audience Feedback Friday, versus a show with all-around growth topics, such as these 7 topics. Or maybe these 7 topics become the rotating wild card topic on Wednesday. I don't know. But again, let me know what you think. But for now, guys, that's it on this Tuesday. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you in the chat, t.me/allaroundgrowth. I hope you have a great Tuesday today. And this is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
Pain. What can I do? The needs are many and answers a few. People turn away, and I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's all that I believe in friendship and love. And truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. And know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love. Truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow, you're an odd